This is the Real Tom Rose. We've got a great SAT question here. We're dealing with modifiers and also parallelism. So for example, we're talking about, in the sentence as written, we have the unusual flavor of dandelion greens. That's the subject. Now we have a modifier inside these commas, right? This is a modifier for dandelion greens, actually for the flavor of dandelion greens. And within this modifier, we have a parallel situation. So we're saying two things about the flavor of dandelion greens. One, we're saying they're much harsher, and we're saying that they are bitter. Now, these need to be parallel, right? So you can't have much harsher and bitter. You need to have much harsher and more bitter. You need to have two comparative adjectives. So the original is wrong for parallelism reasons. I'm just going to abbreviate this as the two lines from now on. Let's do this. Let's evaluate the same thing. So, which are much harsher than. So we have much harsher than. Notice the than. And more bitter in taste than. It's adding this additional submodifier in here, which kind of messes this up. You want to have much harsher than and more bitter than, right? Because these are both types of taste. And C, which sounds horrible, actually works from a parallelism standpoint. We have flavor of dandelion greens, the same subject, right? Now here's the modifier for it. Harsher and more bitter. So this is a comparative adjective, and so is this. Right? We have harsher, that compares two things, and we have more bitter. Right? There is no bitterer. So even though these two things don't look parallel, they are both comparative adjectives, they are parallel. And then we have a single than that of kale. So this is going to be correct. Let's look at the fourth choice. We have harsh and more bitter, so again we have one comparative adjective and one just regular adjective, so that's wrong. And in the last one, we have harsher, so here's a comparative adjective, and we have tasting more bitter. So again, these are both kinds of taste, so you don't want to have tasting specifically called out in one but not the other. Again, that's parallelism. All right, so we're going to pick the third one. Wow, tough question, but great.